Lessons have been learned, changes have been made, and now this vehicle, the 2025 GWM Cannon, is out there to upend dual cab ute hierarchy in Australia. But is it a high velocity contender or just a pop gun? Let's check it out and find out. The GWM Cannon Ute launched in Australia in 2021 and marked a pivotal moment in the Chinese automotive invasion of Australia. To be frank, it wasn't just a frighteningly poor piece of rubbish trading on a cheap price. It had its issues, but actually it was okay. You could pragmatically justify buying it. This update has still got a razor edge price, and on that score, its natural competitor set is the Jack T9, LDV T60 and SsangYong Musso, but GWM's sights are clearly set higher. There are at this stage 4 models in the revamped and renamed Cannon lineup. In fact, this car used to be called the GWM Cannon Ute. Ute was part of the name. They've dropped that, which is pretty self-explanatory really. Obviously it's a ute. Also, there are 4 model names that 2 of them are new. The pricing also has gone up, but it's still within a $40,000 to $50,000 range drive away. Just to put that in context, the most expensive GWM Cannon is the XSR at $49,990 drive away, and that is cheaper than any Ranger or Hi-Lux or Isuzu D-Max dual cab 4x4 ute. So essentially GWM is putting its best foot forward when it comes to pricing and really exploiting that hole in the market the established players have left by raising their prices so high. GWM is backing up the Cannon's low pricing with a comprehensive ownership support package. There's a 7-year warranty, 5 years roadside assist and 5 years cap price servicing, currently priced just over $2,000. That's very competitive in this segment. For this update, the GWM Cannon has banished the bling. Where there was lots of chrome up front, it's all been quietened down. Head around to the back and you'll find a large GWM logo stamped on the tailgate for the first time. Other new features include a fresh 18-inch wheel design and redesigned fender flares. Ultra exterior features to look out for include a sunroof, side steps and a carryover sports bar. It's under the bonnet where this vehicle's biggest story is happening. The old 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine has been replaced by a more powerful, torquier and more economic 2.4-litre engine. Also, the old 8-speed has been traded out for a new 9-speed. The carryover part of the drivetrain is a Borg-Warner torque-on-demand permanent 4x4 system that continues to have low-range gearing as well. While we're on the numbers, let's talk towing. The Cannon's been bumped from 3200 to 3500 kg brake, which is the same as Ranger, Hi-Lux and so on. Do the sums and it also retains an entirely respectable 470 kilogram payload at that top brake towing weight. If you've been in the cabin of a GWM Cannon before, then you're going to find this basically familiar. Dimensions unchanged, but there have been some upgrades worth noting. Double digital screens, a new steering wheel, the seats have leather accents, and the hard points, the touch points, they've just got a bit of softness and given them. Usually in utes they're pretty bone hard. It can be a bit stiff, but the steering column does adjust for reach as well as rake. There's a left footrest at a good angle and a power driver's seat that provides the basic adjustments. Raising the height does also push you forward, so you'll have to adjust for that. Trims are predominantly dark with some lighter plastics to alleviate the tone around the dashboard and centre console. Unlike some dual cab utes, the Cannon doesn't get a double glove box, but it does get this handy storage shelf. There's also a new wireless phone charger here. We've got cooling in the lidded centre bin. We've got door pockets big enough to take large bottles. A sunglass holder up here instead of an overhead grab. Just not sure how useful it would be on the run. And finally, 3 new 12-volt switches here for accessorising your vehicle. An Australian initiative and a good one. The new 12.3-inch touchscreen comes with a home screen, which I really like as a place to kick off infotainment interactions. But it does lack embedded satellite navigation, so you're going to have to rely on your smartphone. There's also no way on the dashboard to adjust volume controls. You can use steering wheel controls or access this slider on the screen by this shortcut. A physical button would work better. Thankfully, they're retained for the dual zone air conditioning. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are both accessed wirelessly or via cable, and it's great that Canon retains AM radio. With its longer range than FM or digital, it's an important emergency alert feature, especially in bushfire country. The new 7-inch digital instrument cluster can be tuned through 3 different faces, but none of them have what I like, which is just a simple speedo dial and a tacho dial. It's just numbers whichever way you choose. And another thing that's really weird about this instrument panel is it doesn't have a hood, right? So when sun shines on it directly, it actually illuminates all the warning lights and the blinker arrow, and even the fuel gauge suddenly pops back up to full. It's really off-putting, especially the first time it happens. The Canon comes with a surround view camera with multiple views. There are also front and rear parking sensors. It's a big vehicle at more than 5.4 metres long, so all these features are appreciated. The Cannon Ultra comes well equipped with safety features. As is common with Chinese vehicles, the lane keeping system is pretty coarse in its intrusions, but this new button in the drop-down menu provides a shortcut to switching it off. Very good move. Driver and speed monitoring is less aggressive than the Chinese norm. There were some ding-dongs that popped up occasionally, and I have no idea still what they were warning me about. The Canon also comes with 7 airbags, 2 child seat top tethers, 2 ISOFIX mounts, and a 5-star ANCAP rating based on 2021 protocols. However, the top spec XSR off-roader misses out on some gear and remains unrated. It's pretty commonly known, isn't it, that dual cab utes are at the back of the pack when it comes to rear seat comfort. But the GWM Cannon Ultra at least won't break your back in the first few minutes. It's got some reasonable features here. Good leg room, reasonable headroom, although there is a bit of ingress from the sunroof surround. And the backrest, well, at least it isn't bolt upright. There is a little bit of angle there. All up, not too bad. The Canon offers a good swag of comfort equipment back here, including adjustable air vents, USB-A ports, dual mat pockets and door bottle holders. There's a fold-down armrest, but no inbuilt cup holders. I love this feature. The rear seat not only split folds its backrest, but also flips up its seat base. Very flexible. All right, let's talk about the tray. Well, actually, let's start with the tailgate. And there's a really cool feature here. An easy step into the tray. I'm surprised more ute manufacturers don't have this feature. It really is helpful. Now also the Canon has these struts to help a soft opening and close function. That is quite easy. And also a nice new feature, you can lock the tailgate off the central locking, which is handy if you've got a tarp or a roller cover, but not so handy for us because obviously our test vehicle doesn't have that, but still, good feature. The spray-in bed liner is standard, and as you can see, we've already marked it up a bit, carrying some loads. There are only 4 hooks spread around the bed and no lighting or plug-in points. Do the measurements and it's not quite wide enough to fit an Aussie pallet between the wheel arches. The payload is 995 kilos, which is just low enough to qualify the Cannon Ultra for novated leasing. All right, so let's hit the road in the new Cannon Ute and the off-road, and let's carry some loads as well to see how it performs. So get in the Cannon and it's welcome back turbo lag. Yep, tip in throttle and you're not quite sure what you're going to get. You can get lively response or you can hit the throttle hard and get no response. That unpredictability makes life diving into a busy intersection a bit unnerving. Get up and rolling though, and no doubt the 2.4 is a better donk than the 2.0 it replaces. It pulls harder, it's cleaner, and it's quieter. In fact, at higher speeds, wind noise is more of an issue with this car than engine noise is. In terms of ride and handling, the Cannon has reasonably good behaviour too. Look, it's not up there with the Ranger at the elite level of the class, but it's predictable and confident, and the ride is a bit jiggy when there's no load in the back. But when we chucked 650 kilos in to see how it affected it, it really did settle down nicely. GWM has done some shock tuning for this update, so I think there is a bit of evidence there of some improvement over the old vehicle. That extra 650 kilos also helped emphasise the improvement made putting in the 2.4. That engine is just not as overwhelmed by a big load as the 2.0 was. Also noticeable that the 9-speed auto copes pretty well as well. Like, it's from the same family as the 8-speed, so it's not a night and day difference. There's still some obvious changes and a bit of meshing here and there, but overall pretty good. And we get manual shifting pedals on the steering wheel, and they are, yeah, I guess they kind of blur their way into the next gear. They're not particularly responsive, but they're not bad either. Move to the power steering, and you've got 3 modes to choose from. I'll stick with the lightest mode, thanks. The other 2, especially sport, just add weight. And with a 13-metre turning circle, which really is just too much, really, I'll take all the help I can get. So most irritations seem to have been resolved now. Calibration, tuning, it's all going in the right direction. However, I still do have one major irritant. The indicators. Oh my gosh, I spend all my time driving down the road indicating alternately left and right, and that's because I'm overcompensating with the indicator stalk. Come on, GWM, can we just sort this out, please? So let's head off-road before we wrap up the driving section. To help it, the Cannon comes with high and low range gearing and a mechanical locking rear diff. On the carsales mogul test, the Cannon was not interested in proceeding in high range, but moved to low range and locked the rear diff, and the Ultra motored straight up, highway tyres and all. Its side steps did take a battering though, and the undersides touched down a bit as well. The locking diff is very tight and low range first gear very low, making hill descent control almost superfluous. And now a really fascinating bit, fuel consumption. The overall average came out at 8.8 litres per 100 kilometres, which is not much more than the claimed average. We've broken that figure into sections in the accompanying review, including when loaded and off-roading, all of which makes it apparent how helpful the auto's tall top gears are at saving fuel. At 100 kilometres an hour, we were ambling along freeways at just 1600 revs. The good news is, most of the issues we had with the Cannon when we first tested it back in 2021 seem to have been dealt with. It is now a much better vehicle to drive. Scarily for rivals, the driving improvement is only part of what is an impressively upgraded package, and then you get to the pricing. So back in 2021, the Cannon Ute fired a warning shot at its Ute rivals. It wasn't a great vehicle, but gee, it was cheap. You could accept its faults for what you were paying for it. But in 2025, it significantly improved and firing a broadside straight at rival Utes. And its price, adjusted for inflation, it's still cutthroat. So, the Cannon Ute was the pragmatic choice. Now, it's looking like the smart one. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos. And don't forget to tell us what you think of this one in the comments below.